There was one comment that gave some history of the site and was supportive of the proposal, and the other comment that was specific to the deer fencing and requested that the board not approve deer fencing.
Morning.
Morning.
So at that meeting that Kate referred to, subcommittee meeting, there were some changes that are in your packet, and that's what Architect Mr. Pitcher is here to discuss.
The first thing I need to say is there are changes to the changes. We ran into some problems with zoning on the deer fencing, so we're withdrawing that from consideration at this time. And I think also the lighting.
Yeah, so there's the applicant, or at least in the original application, there was discussion, brief discussion of landscape lighting and then there's also the security lighting on the house, and it seems that those should be grouped together. And I discussed with the applicant and with Bill about separating that off as a separate C of A. And then oh, sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I just wanted clarification on the deer fencing location. Is it the entire section of deer fencing, or is it just a portion?
We're deleting the request at this time until we resolve the zoning issues.
So for the purpose of this application, we're not discussing exterior lighting or the deer fence.
Correct. You have a new drawing, L7, and I kind of shifted the focus from the split up sheets, and we now have the patio area and the pond area all on one drawing. The changes since the previous presentation is the gazebo has been redesigned, and we're putting a little porch roof over the basement entrance. We're also going to put a dry well underneath the porch entrance so that we take care of the water issue, and we're going to leave the patio at the same elevation, just changing the concrete block to the bluestone. So that's basically the changes we've made here. And the gazebo on L8 they've deleted the idea of cooking, and it's just going to be a screened sitting porch area. And basically we've gone from weathering cedar to painted, white painted wood to match the housing trim. So those are basically the two changes. Otherwise, the rest of the things that we had discussed in terms of the pond and the yard and everything, all of those remain unchanged. Do you have any questions?
Just assuming there's electricity to the gazebo?
Yes, when we pull up the patio, we'll get a conduit underground.
Any comments from any of the board at this point?
I think there was also clarification, if I'm not mistaken, that the raised terrace facing west will have a brick facing as well. Well, I'm not sure if that was a change from the last, but I know that was a discussion item from
It was discussion, and at that time when we walked through, the owner said that if the brick is unrepairable, when the concrete block is taken down, he will reface with brick.
Just a small comment from me on the columns, not the gazebo. You've got them fluted. I just ask the rest of the board what their thought is. I think a more simple column would be more appropriate in that particular application rather than a fluted column. But
I was going to make a comment is that he was pulling that off of the existing trim of the house, but again, we want to differentiate new versus old or existing. So the removal of the fluting would help the application.
Fire cut on the four corners would be fine.
Just a chamfer.
Oh, okay,
A
just a
chamfer.
chamfer, yeah.
we have another
Go ahead, Don.
question that I don't think we really got into in detail, but if you go to the pond area, where a lot of the excavation has taken place, and that wall, that's now just a cutout dirt, what's been determined there? I know there were, at the site visit, they weren't quite sure.
Well, he has salvaged all of the original stone for that area, and he also has the new stone. If we look on L8, I put in a little drawing here of a dry stack retaining wall for him, giving him instructions on how to do it. Basically, it's going to be a dry stacked stone wall.
All the way up, or is it going to change and grade back a little? Because
Well,
that's high.
I think,
That's got to be 6, 7 feet high.
yeah, we're talking about also back infilling from, excuse me, infilling from the present dirt level around the pond. I think he was talking about a foot of fill. And then also we could, depending on the height of the wall, we could also kind of round it down to the wall. So that's going to be sort of a thing of laying it out, and it's going to happen because of the stone and the site conditions.
I'm just wondering if, when that takes place, if we should request detail on what that finally is going to be.
So you would like a section and plan?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
commented
material,
on
yeah.
that on the site visit, Don, about seeing the whole section because of the vertical difference.
With material. Any other comments? Kate?
I wanted to also just clarify with Bill that the deer fencing in this the deer fencing is going, but in this location, there's still going to be a stone wall, a 4-foot stone wall, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 4 feet?
Well, he was talking about 2 to 4. I mean, I think it's going to come out to be how much stone he has left.
Okay, but it's the, all right.
But the stone wall is still going to be in that location.
Is that where it says 2-foot high stacked stone? Yeah.
So picking up on that comment, you spoke about doing like a lattice fence there. Is that included in this as well, or has that been dropped as part of the deer fencing?
Haven't talked to him. I would say I'm going to drop it right now.
This point, for this
My
application.
sense is that the lattice was associated with the deer
fence.
fence.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, so I think, yeah.
Okay.
the note says wood trellis fence, quote, deer fence, so
Deer fence,
that
yeah.
should come off.
At this point, we're just looking at a low, dry
2-foot high
stacked
stack,
stone, natural stone wall. Okay. Also at the site visit, the location of the stairs coming down to the koi pond off of the walk from the house, we noted it was different. It was more kind of where the R is. Has that been confirmed, or has that been realigned? As we spoke out on the site.
I think it's more where the arrow of the C is.
Okay, where C
Okay.
is. Okay.
It was sort of at the break, at the
Right.
turning break of the
Okay.
pathway.
Okay. And then I like the redesign of the gazebo. That looks good. I think it's a little more fitting with the architecture of the house. Keeping the patio at that same level is a huge help. Do we have a drawing showing that new awning over the basement door?
Yeah, basically it's, well, I didn't number my details. It's the lower
Basement
right.
porch roof. I'm sorry. I thought that was part of the gazebo.
Yeah, basically it's like 1/2 of the gazebo. So we're carrying over the roof,
Have
the metal
dimensions?
roof, and, 9 foot. And it will align with, the height will align with the windows.
Gotcha.
in
And that's the
existing building.
that's the location of the dry well as well? with the-
Yeah,
with the
basically
pipe
what I'm
running out?
doing here is I'm digging a pit right in front of the door. We're putting in gravel, and then we're running a pipe either to another dry well out in the yard or all the way across the yard to the slope to daylight. So we'll have a large capacity for the immediate rain, but we'll also have a way, if it's a super rain, to drain the water away and keep it out of the door.
That roof on the awning is the same
Is it a standing seam?
standing seam?
Yes.
Okay. And I would make the same comment about the fluted columns there also. Any other comments?
So just to clarify, it's a standing seam aluminum roof, green copper, so it's not going to turn, just so you know.
Right.
It'll be just
Right.
green.
Yeah, the existing house roof is green copper.
That I'm looking for a motion to approve with the caveat of a full plan of material on whatever is done in that, I don't know what area,
The koi pond
pond.
wall.
pound, koi pound. Looking for a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve application as submitted with the exclusion of the,
Oh, as revised. I would say, right?
sure,
Yeah,
as
yeah.
revised. Simplify it.
Yeah.
And I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries.
Okay?
And make it clear in the, see, and
Yes.
lighting are out. of the
Lighting or,
certification.
out. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I will revise.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for working with us.
Okay. Kate, do you want to introduce the next public
You
hearing?
know what, actually, we should have closed the public hearing
Yes.
and then have the vote. So I'm
have
sorry,
new
we're still
procedures.
learning I think you need to officially close the.
As chair, I officially close the hearing on 100 Windsor Place.
And then we'll know better the next time around, right?
For your patience, we have new procedures. now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, going forward. Kate, project CA-23-23?
So this is a public hearing for certificate of appropriateness, CA-2323, 305 Sedgwick Drive. It's in the Sedgwick Highland James Preservation District, and it is for window replacement as well as some facade repair. And we have the applicants represented this year.
Good morning.
Good morning. Could you please state your name and address for the record?
My name is Christopher Haynes. I'm the owner of CH Construction and Restoration. My address is 178 Oakley Drive East, Syracuse, New York, 13205.
And Mr. Wiles?
Mr. Wall.
Oh, okay, well, okay, good. Just, okay. The floor is yours. Why don't you let us know what you're doing here?
Okay, so what we're doing is doing some facade restoration work along with wanting to restore or replace these windows on 305 Sedgwick Drive. Upon further inspection, these windows have taken some severe damage between rot, mold, and carpenter ant damage. And so at this point, we're asking the board to approve the replacement of these windows. I have some literature of what we want to use. We'd like to use a Marvin fiberglass replacement window that's far superior than an aluminum cladded window because of the thermal properties, and expansion and contraction here in the upstate New York area. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So
Chris, can you explain how it is that the windows are in the condition that they're in? You provided photographs, which the board has.
So the window condition, A, that they're old. B, over the years, people have done what they wanted to, remove hardware, paint, et cetera. And so the storms that were put on these windows a while ago were not put on properly, which caused trapped moisture in the area of the window. And with the weep holes being caulked shut for however long they've been there. It's just created a mess for a restoration situation.
So we're looking at 5 windows primarily in the second and third floor of the north facade of the house, driveway side?
We're asking for permission for the whole second floor, basically, to go through the whole second floor. We're doing
The
the,
entire second floor.
correct. And
You're
so-
doing 5 now, but you
We're
want
doing-
permission for the whole thing?
Correct. We got to do this in phases because of the rot damage and the ledger transition between the stucco and the brick. We got to open that up with the proper weather conditions.
Would that eventually include the second floor window on the front facade with the brick?
Let me flip to the picture.
If you're going to do the whole,
Eventually, maybe. We'd have to see the integrity of what's going on because drive or back up into the fascia, it's creating all sorts of problems for the facade, the windows, and the transition itself.
Let me ask this, when is the roof getting done?
That's not up to me, ma'am.
Well, but
You
that's,
know.
but the,
Things that should be done first.
And so, well, of course, it may, should be and would be is the question. The roof is not necessarily creating the issues, it's the constant wet that is being driven by these storm windows. Okay?
What are you doing with framing? I mean, is it just sash replacement, or is it full frame, or?
Well, we're gonna be replacing this full frame. As you can see, it was fully rotted out, fully chewed out. And that's what every one of these 5 windows look like. And so upon further inspection of the other sides, some of them are worse. Maybe one window is better versus the 10 that are there that need to be replaced, but that shouldn't, and now the real issue with the windows becomes safety, right? And so my clients are elderly and they'd like their windows to be open and closed safely and without any fire hazards or problems. These old windows don't do that for them, and they certainly don't provide any thermal properties for this house. It being brick and stucco, there is an R value issue, and the R value issue starts at the next set of openings, which would be windows and doors.
I'm not sure, maybe I'm a little confused. Is this a new contractor?
Yes, I am the contractor. Yes. Yep.
Are you a new, we saw this before, correct?
No, I don't think we've seen this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
similar to the house on Berkeley.
Yeah, close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's the Tudor style with the.
We've seen this house before for front porch renovations.
Right.
Okay,
Quite a
okay.
while ago. But this, and I think you mentioned the windows before, just in general discussion, I want to say. We've discussed these windows not being operable.
Right.
Like we did.
And so,
So,
style's gonna stay the same. Styles and rails or muttons, if you will, on the windows will stay the same. So the
Exactly.
architecture, well, yeah, as close as possible.
with a fiberglass
You
window.
need to know that.
we need to
Yeah,
know that.
we need, yeah.
So those are the options we're exploring, and I'll leave this with you guys, this literature. The muttons will be as close as possible. The layout of the muttons will stay the same. Styles or rails, whatever you want to call them. So 6/1 will stay the same.
We are going to need to see a sample specifically of the material, size, width of the
window
buttons
itself.
and the rails and the styles.
Sure.
Well, I would also like to see, cataloging of all the windows from the interior and the exterior. And the question is.
Window survey.
Windows survey, but the other thing is that you're mentioning all the windows on the second floor. There's some windows that are in the brick, so it's a different condition. So are we suggesting just the windows that are in the stucco, or are you suggesting
We're
also?
suggesting the whole second floor because we still have to evaluate
Well, you
what
could-
is there, right? So right now, we're working on phase 1, which consists of the gable end on the driveway side, and phase 2 is the other side of the house, the gable end.
I'd like to see a detailed window survey, window by window.
Okay.
That's a requirement. We've done this in the past many, many times. We also want to see a complete spec list of the window you choose. We're not going to choose the window for you.
No,
You
it's
choose
all
it.
right here. We've already chosen it. Marvin
And-
Elevate Series.
Then bring in a sample, whether it's a corner sample or
no
full
problem.
window.
And in terms of the, there's like a Fibrix window is what it is? Yeah. As far as
It's better.
SHPO's concerned, it's approvable, so.
Well, for glass area retainage, the fiberglass is a thinner style and rail, so you still maintain that glass opening that we are looking for. And if this is a specifically built window for this opening, we can match as closely as possible the mutton patterns. So there's that.
So I think what we're saying is, we're going to leave this public hearing open. We don't have an issue with the particular material. We don't have an issue pending on the results of the window survey of replacement, but we do need to see a complete spec and scale and sample of the window. In terms of the timber and stucco, what are you doing there? Because if you're taking these frames, you're going to have a lot of work to do there.
Well, the frames are already ready to extract. I've already put those, we've already done the detail to be able to extract the frames or whatever I have to do here. As far as the facade goes, we're just extracting all the Tudor timber, the verticals and all the headers and all the window trim around. You can see in this picture, this is one of them. And so we're just replacing it new, replacing any of the structural underlaminate, any of the
You're
framing.
replacing it with what material?
With the same material, ma'am,
Okay.
the timber. And then any of the underlaminate gets replaced with pressure treated plywood. Because I don't want ants, I want wet, so any rot that I'm putting it, replacing with,
The underlayment.
it's the underlaminate, you're not gonna see it.
The sheathing, basically.
Sheathing, basically.
And stucco repair.
And then stucco repair, which is very minor. And so this thing has been painted in the past, so that's why we couldn't do an overlay. And so it's just gonna get a freshen up repaint.
Are the jambs of the windows rotted, or are you going to be inserting the Marvin integrity unit into the existing?
The jambs I'm gonna fix where as needed, and then I'm just gonna do replacement inserts.
Okay,
Wait a
so
minute,
no
the
disturbance
window is
inside.
a replacement insert or it's a full
Replacement
frame?
insert, full, it's not a full frame.
Which means you're gonna have less glass area. If you're putting it within the frame, because you had mentioned that the frame. So I would,
Correct, so if you see this 1 inch going around, you might have a 1/4 inch difference, okay?
Well, that's what we're going to have to get spec'd out.
Yeah,
that's-
and I'll give you the specs on that, or
Okay.
we're gonna get all that detail for you, no problem.
Obviously, as Jeff, we're looking to retain the same glazing area as exists. Okay. Any other comments or questions?
I have a
Okay.
general comment is, are we going to approve the entire window replacement, or are we just going to look at this facade?
what is the application?
The application is for the 5 windows. Thanks for bringing that up. If in fact the intention is for all the windows, then we'll need to change the C of A to all the windows rather than just 5.
Yeah, and I think we wanted to start here, but we wanted to mention it while we're here.
Yeah,
You know,
no, I just want to
because
make
this
sure
thing is-
we're talking apples
Confirm
and
that.
apples, that we're talking only this north facade right now, because we
Yeah,
generally
'cause
like.
that's all we're working on right now.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Okay, so it's just,
Same time, if the intention is clearly to replace them all, then that should be in the C of A.
I
then we
agree,
should get the window survey off of
yeah,
that.
I agree.
Probably purchase the windows so they're available at some point.
Well, that's what we want to do, so we don't want to just purchase 5, because these are ordered windows, and so we want to be able to, you know what I mean? We got 15 to
I was
17
gonna
week
say,
lead time.
It's terrible.
No. Well,
terrible.
that was
Nothing's-
when we started a long time ago, and
before
so,
COVID.
yeah,
Nothing's 8 weeks in.
nothing's 8 weeks anymore.
So we'll leave the public hearing open. The next meeting is the 20th, I think.
Yeah, if the applicant is, or representative is finished, then we still have to go through the, if there's anyone in the public who would, okay. We'll just have to gather public comments if there are still, so.
Is there anybody here looking to speak in favor of this application? Is there anybody here looking to speak in opposition? Let the record show no in both cases. Okay, so the hearing remains open, and we'll probably see you on the 20th.
Appreciate you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice meeting you guys.
Is that a slate roof?
That is a slate roof. Yep.
Okay, going forward, old business, there is no old business, new business, there is no new business. Any discussion or correspondence?
I have none, except actually it's the 21st.
It's the
The
21st.
21st of September, not the 20th, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the meeting.
And in your introduction, you said you met on the, per your notes, it was the 17th that you were on site, the three of you.
Yeah, you said the 10th.
The three of us
You-
was on
right.
site. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yes,
Just so
you're right. The
for the
10th
record.
was our meeting, and then you're right, yeah, 17th. Did you want to, no, I think we're good. We had another, yeah, we're all good.
So I'd like entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Thank you very much.